What is up, watch friends? Welcome to another episode of A Drink and a Rant. I'm wearing my Omega SMP 300. Love this watch. I know when I talk about Rolex, I kind of rag on some of the Omega fans, but I am an Omega fan. I'm just not a psychotic Omega fan, Anyway, I've had a few beers and I thought, why not? Let's do it. Let's just do it. Anyway, let's roll the intro and we'll talk about what we're going to talk about. Okay, first and foremost, if I'm gonna do this drink and a rant thing, I know a lot of people really liked it and a lot of people really hated it. For every 5 subscribers I got, I lost 4. It was just it wasn't beneficial to me for the time I was taking to do it, research, and I just was like, man, and I was actually losing too many subscribers. Although a lot of people really found my videos funny. All right, fair enough. Having said that, if I'm going to do this, I got to format it differently and not, and not just rag on other YouTubers because I just don't have time to go through all their videos and find the inaccuracies and things. And that's all that was in the first place. But having said that, Oisin O'Malley, it's kind of weird. I find it a little strange that I did a video on Friday for my watch ball thing, but it said SWAT. Now, granted, I had to retitle it due to certain things, but I went and visited LAPD SWAT. It was awesome. Great day. Watch the video if you get a chance. And then the watch ball questions at the other half of the video, there were some really good questions, and it was actually a pretty good video. So in this case, I did the video on Friday about visiting SWAT. Now, Oisin O'Malley, I'm not here to talk about him. This is not the rant about his channel because I actually like his channel for the most part. Yeah, he is arrogant. He is cocky. He is kind of full of himself. He does think the world of himself. But he did a video live stream Saturday that it was called SWAT. Something about something and watches and whatever. I don't know. And then he has a group of people on its live stream. He's like, "Welcome to SWAT, gentlemen," and you're like, come on, dude, really? I mean, that's fucking straight up. You straight up lifted that for me, and that that's okay, cool. I'm not pissed about it. I mean, he was a musician, and music's all about plagiarism. The whole industry. But having said that, I'm here to talk about primarily Anthony Ferrar, the Timepiece gentleman. I don't know if you follow him or watch his videos, because I certainly don't. In a sense that I never got into it when I first heard about him. I'm not into the flex. I'm not into the guys driving the Lambos and the whole thing. And then he got into trouble, whatever it was. I had gone quite a long time before I even watched one of his videos. And then I started watching it a little bit and I was like, man, this is kind of bullshit, but I love watches. So I like seeing watches, you know what? And so then he moves out to LA and I was not happy about that. I'm like, dude, why are you coming out here infecting Los Angeles with your, disease? And because there's a lot of negativity that surrounds that guy, but he's owned up to it, and I can throw him some of that. But what the video primarily is about is shady ADs or ADs that don't know what they're talking about, and that can really put you off of buying a watch. Now, this can go with anything. It doesn't have to be a watch. It could be a car. It could be, you ever go to buy a new car and you get so disgusted with the sales rep that you end up going to another dealership just because it's like the arrogance or the bullshit that they're feeding you, or the other shit they try to sell you and put into the contract that you're like, well, wait a minute, I didn't want to pay. You get where I'm coming from? Cheers. But Anthony Ferrar did a video where he called out an AD, and I thought, and the only reason I put it on is because essentially I was like searching for shit to watch and there was nothing on, but I was also doing something else. So I put it on kind of as background, and he was like saying how they're going to call out this AD for basically embarrassing one of his clients and giving wrong information. And I'm at first thinking, yeah, all right, dude, let's see what you got, because I still don't trust him. I still wouldn't sell a watch to him or buy a watch from him. I'm sorry, no disrespect, man. You got too much history of your shady background, bro. But this is where I give him a lot of respect because he did own up to his shit. That's fine. I still don't follow his channel, but I did watch this video. I did want to record some of the things that I'm talking about and put it on my channel. But I suggest you go and watch his video because it actually is pretty awesome how he called this AD out. So essentially the story is he has a customer that he sells a Rolex 36 millimeter date just with diamond bezel. It's a 2000, I want to say it's a 2022 watch. I can't remember. And the lady he sold it to, she took it to the AD in wherever she's from, and um, she takes it in, and the AD tells her that the watch is basically, the dial is not authentic dial. It's an aftermarket dial, and the diamonds and the bezel are aftermarket, and basically the watch is not legit. So of course she's not happy. Of course, you pay $22,000 for a watch or whatever it was. I wouldn't be happy either, right? So he gets the watch back, Anthony Ferrer, and he's like, I'd be pissed too because it's a legit watch, right? So he takes it to two watchmakers that he knows, but he doesn't set it up and tell them that this is what it is. He goes, what do you think about this watch? I might have concerns. It might not be real and the diamonds not be real. So he takes a legit watch guy, pulls it apart, and then explains everything as to why that watch is correct and 100% legit. And he goes through everything from when you take the bezel off, there's a crown and a Rolex marking on the inner side of the bezel. The dial's correct. And the serial numbers, a scrambled serial number. Rolex in 2017, this is common knowledge, they scrambled their serial numbers. Before, you could tell the date of a Rolex by the letter in front of the serial number, which was a 6-digit serial number. Then they moved to 8-digit serial numbers, and they scrambled them. So now you can't tell, say, a 22 watch from a 21 watch or an 18 watch from a 22 watch because those serial numbers are scrambled. Only really Rolex knows that whole thing. Plus the cards they changed in 2020 or 2021 to the new Rolex cards. Anyway, so this lady goes into her AD, and this guy proceeds to fucking tell her it's bullshit. The watch is basically bullshit. He's not saying the whole watch is fake, but he's saying the dial and the diamonds and all that's bullshit. Anyway, Anthony Ferrer goes to his watchmaker and says, hey, what is this? The guy goes, no, it's legit. Everything's about this watch. Gets out his loop, and he's a watchmaker. He's not a guy that works on Anthony Ferrer's sales team. I don't trust those guys either. Sorry, no disrespect, man. But and it's proven that it's an authentic watch. So he takes it to another guy. The guy looks at it and says, yeah, everything's legit. Everything's legit. So what Anthony does, and commending him for this, he flies out to wherever it was, where this lady's AD was, and he meets her in the parking lot and says, all right, you go in. Hopefully the guy won't recognize me because Anthony is a recognizable flipper, and they can't film in there, but they have a camera and they have audio, but it's black, but it's audio. And the lady comes in, the sales rep is there, and she goes, remember me? He's like, oh yeah. And he begins to tell Anthony was cool as a cucumber. Is that a common saying now? And he's telling Anthony, no, see, even the stamping of the dial's not accurate. This is not accurate. The diamonds are not accurate. The Rolex don't even make a diamond bezel for this watch and whatever. And this is a watch that's on their website, dude, on Rolex's website. And Anthony's like, wow, man, I thought I knew. Now, keep in mind, this guy doesn't know Anthony's a flipper, right? And so this guy's really trying to educate him and say what's fake and what everything about it, right? Anthony's just going, wow, man, I thought I knew and whatever. And then Anthony goes, let me tell you something. I know more about this watch than you ever will, kind of thing, right? Now he schools the shit out of this guy. This guy's, well, I never said it was fake and I didn't. Dude, it's all on audio. Watch the video. I really suggest you watch this video because he just calls this dude out. Having said all that, everything was amended and, it was, everything was finalized, and she bought the watch from him, and she thanked him, and it was great. It was awesome. My point being is that just because you go to an authorized dealer doesn't mean that person knows about watches. Now the thing is, this AD was cocky, arrogant. Here's the thing. Um, Arrogance stems from insecurity. If you don't know the answer, if I don't know the answer to something that someone is asking me, if I really legit don't know, I'm going to say, look, man, I don't know, but I will find out for you. All right. When someone just takes it upon themselves to just push their authority of what they know on you and scare somebody into thinking whatever it is, then again, that comes from the arrogance and and really, come on, just be genuine. I've had several experiences where I've been in an AD, and the rep doesn't know anything about watches in general. Really, they're just saying, well, it's this and or this. But how do you know? Well, I've been doing it for 20 years. I know about watches. Let me explain something to you. Just because you've been doing something for 20 years, 25 years, doesn't mean you know shit. You could be doing something for a year, no more than the guy who's been doing it for 20 years. I can tell you, in the music industry, there are a lot of musicians that are very famous that have been around for a very, very long time, and they're still not very good musicians. Well, I've been playing for 40 years. Well, you still kind of suck, but you have made a living at it, and doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the fact that you're not a great musician. It doesn't matter. Because there's people coming up that have been playing for a whole lot less that are just phenomenal musicians, So it's got nothing to do with technique or how good you are, but it is, in a sense, how well do you know the product you're selling, and how comfortable are you selling it to somebody and knowing what you're talking about? Because if you assume that you know what you're talking about and you don't know who you're talking to, that person can call you out, just like Anthony did with his AD. And it happens a lot. I've been into ADs where the person didn't know anything, and it put me off, because I'm like, oh, I can't even you can't tell me anything about this watch. Well, what do you want to know about it? Well, tell me about the watch. Tell me about the brand. Because even though I know a lot about watches, and even I may know a lot about the particular brand that I'm looking at, I still want to have a conversation. I still want that person to, maybe they'll educate me on something I don't know about that brand or the movement or whatever it is, but don't just be nonchalant about it and say, well, of course I work here. I sell fucking, this brand, whatever. So having said that, no matter what you do and where you go, whatever you're buying, whatever you're purchasing, whatever it may be, you're going to have good sales reps and bad sales reps. I lucked out with Juan at Bindi Jewelers, because he knows what he's talking about to a certain extent. I mean, he's a little bit of a moron. No, I'm just kidding, Juan. I know you watch my videos, so I love you to death, bro. I'm drinking. I'm just having fun. So, please don't take that. You know a lot about watches, and you are educated, and you do help me out, and you're awesome. So, but that, again, that doesn't change that you, wherever you are in the world, trying to buy a watch, make sure that the person who's selling it to you is educated. And if they don't know the answer, or if they come across and appear to you that they don't really know and they're just trying to give you an answer, then hey, don't be afraid to call them out and say, look, man, if you don't know the answer, can you ask someone who does? Because before I buy this and spend my hard-earned money on this piece, I want to make sure that I'm getting what I think I want, what I know I want, and what I'm asking for. So when I was doing Drink and Rant prior, I called a Cartier dealer out. I got flack for it, dude, saying on the Cartier Santos that it had a sapphire cabochon on the crown. I'm like, dude, no, it's not a sapphire. It's a spinel, which is basically glass. It's nice looking and it's all good, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Cartier only put sapphires on their solid gold pieces for the most part, or maybe a limited edition piece or whatever. But their standard stainless steel, everyday tanks, Santos, Ronde, Ballon Bleu are spinels, they're just glass, you know? So people may take what that person says and as a legit thing, because now you see a lot of people talking about Cartiers and saying, "Oh, this is sapphire." No, it's not. It's not a big deal, but it's a big enough deal. So I hope this drinking rant is a good drinking rant. I suggest you watch that Anthony Farrar video. I'm not promoting his channel by any stretch, but I think that video is definitely worth a watch. A watch. All right, man. Having said that, you guys have a great night. And let's have a quick sip of beer. Like, subscribe, do all that shit. Or don't. All right, bye.